All right, another good man with us right now, Charlie Gasparino. This war of words, it's getting bad.
I just got off the phone with the White House.
It's getting pretty nasty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, God, it reminds me of the stuff I used to do with the Wall Street firms. But, you know, listen, I will say this. As a reporter, I think we have to suck it up and expect it. You know, I don't think we should be, our battle should be fighting the good fight to break news, ask the appropriate questions. I don't think we have to get into the mud with you know the old saying, you get in the mud with the pigs. What happens is you start turning into a pig.
But it works both ways too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, so they goad him. There's no doubt, right. And he responds. But I don't.
But you know, I always think that he does it to get them too, and he has their number as much as they like to think. You know, they have his.
You know, who knows who's winning this?
I don't know who's winning. I just know it's very entertaining.
Yeah, it's entertaining and it's fun because it's fun to watch. But it's like it takes so much oxygen out of the room on stuff that we could be talking about. We could be talking about, you know, the press could be talking about policy, trade policy, immigration policy, and you know, getting Trump. I think Trump is at his weakest when you ask him a legitimate question and he tries to explain.
But that's what I mean when he does this sort of stuff. If they really want to address these policy issues and everything else, he knows all they're going to talk about is themselves.
Because he's weakest when he has to explain the facts. I mean, because usually
they cave to that as well.
Right, they do. I agree.
They're very thin-skinned. I mean, they're as thin-skinned as they claim.
Think about it. Right? You have a president that's saying this is the greatest economy ever. Why can't Jim Acosta or one of our guys? I'm not going to single out Jim Acosta. Mr. President, explain why it's the greatest economy ever. Like, give us the historical parameters.
Like, compare it to Reagan, compare it to Clinton.
Why is this better than Reagan, Clinton, or Eisenhower? I mean, obviously, it's not. Right. And if he tries to explain that, he will look like an idiot. And you don't even have to put the words in his mouth.
But where do you think this is all going, ahead of the Mueller probe findings and everything?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be a very toxic atmosphere in there because the Democrats, as we've been reporting, we kind of led the charge on this thing. They are gearing up to roast Donald Trump. There's going to be a little bit of a good cop, bad cop, I think. It'll be Pelosi being the good cop, Maxine Waters and Elijah Cummings and Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler and others being the bad cops, where they launch investigations.
Are you in that camp, though, that says this is part of that derangement syndrome where Democrats are pushing too far?
I think Pelosi will be much more strategic. She'll roast him. She'll let them do the roasting, and she will try to get policy concessions out of him. That's kind of the word I'm hearing from some Democrats. Now, whether that is true or not, you know, can you keep Adam Schiff from going off the rails? I don't know. Or Jerry Nadler, don't know. But that's what I hear.
And they might not have to go off the rails. They just investigations don't necessarily mean impeach him. They just raise a lot of stuff.
And they roast him, and she tries to get them. She is the conduit where she gets policy concessions, infrastructure, more trade sanctions. You remember that? I think that's the end game. And you know, I think the one thing
deals that they can make on a that is Democrats and the president on some substantive issues.
And I think it's not good for the economy or the markets. The deals that
you don't think they can make deals?
No, I do. I think they could make bad deals, and I think and here's where I think they'll make more trade, more tariffs, more aggressive stuff on trade, which the Democrats and their union allies definitely want. More attacks on businesses like Amazon, big tech, maybe calling them monopolies and trying to break them up. More attacks on, more pushing for infrastructure spending, which, you know, sounds good, but it's usually a boondoggle, waste of money, leads to much higher deficits. Those are the type of things they agree on. And you could see Pelosi getting concessions out of him on those things while, you know, and using the sort of hammer of Maxine Waters and attacking him and asking for his tax returns or whatever she's going to do. I mean, it could be that type of good cop, bad cop. And I am picking some of that up from my Democratic sources. Now, whether that works out, how that works out perfectly, I can't tell you. This is a work in progress. This is just in the beginning. And I think you have to remember, when you're Democrats and you're controlling these investigative committees, they feed reporters. And, you know, whether Jim Acosta doesn't have to be at the White House to write a major takedown of Donald Trump based on some leaked information he's getting from Jerry Nadler. I mean, or me. I don't mean to single him out.
But is he the hill worth other journalists dying on?
Well, listen, I think most journalists thought he was provocative, maybe overly provocative at the press conference, but it was a lie that he put his hands on her. I mean, it's
right.
It was in the realm of the lies or the BS.
This intern or whatever.
The BS,
the mic thing.
But it was in the line of the BS that.
But I'm not talking about her. But you're right. I mean, the showing the video. But do you think that for a lot of journalists who work hard, that Costa is in that camp?
Jim, I keep calling him Bob. I grew up with a guy named Bob Acosta.
Sure.
Jim Acosta works very hard. I mean,
that's not what I asked.
Would you ask?
Is he worth dying on a hill for? That all journalists say that we're all connected and joined at the hip, and we're all part of the same cause.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I would. I mean, I don't think he should deny his privileges. And I think all
right.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you think his questions are so far over the line you should not get privileges?
I think they're theater. I think you have to be very, very careful.
Well, then why call on him?
Well, there is that.
I think you let him in and you don't call on him.
All right.
If you think he's going to argue with you every time you call on him,
it's slippery. You're right, but you have to just step back. But be fair, be balanced.
But they went too far. Did you really think he touched?
No, I don't have time to get into the whole touching thing with you. But I want to thank you.
I think that's a scary thought.
No, I'm just raising the issue.
You've touched me. You've grabbed me.
Look at the time here. But thank you very much.
I've never reported you.
No, well, there's always now.